Hello again and welcome to another Mordy and Glory Warhammer 40k video. In today's episode we shall cast our ever critical eye over another 10th edition datasheet, and once more we'll be looking at the Imperial agents that you can ally to your guard army. So far in this series we've covered a number of assassins, looked at the Vindicare and the Calidus. But now it's time to go to everyone's favourite weaponized psycho, the Eversor assassin. What do you get when you take a serial killer, inject him full of steroids, and show him mind-altering propaganda on a non-stop loop for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Well, according to the Imperium, apparently you get a good idea. But is this the case on the tabletop? Is the Eversor assassin a berserk killing machine or a little bit of a disappointment? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's dive right into today's episode. We'll begin by a look at the Eversor's profile. Firstly, he has a movement of 9. This is significantly higher than the other assassins, who typically have a movement value of 7 inches. 9-inch movement is really good, possibly one of the best bits about this profile. Fundamentally, movements wins games, but also the Eversor assassin is a combat unit. He likes to be in melee, so anything that allows him to close the distance quicker and start ripping and tearing is a good thing. He's also fairly durable. Toughness 4 with 4 wounds and a 4+ invulnerable save means that he's resistant to a lot of small arms fire, and you're going to need to bring in some heavy weapons or just a lot of crap to bring him down. Leadership 6 means he's fairly resistant to battle shock, although to be honest it's not a huge factor on this unit, and objective control of 1. He's not controlling objectives, is he? The way he controls objectives is that there's no one else left alive on the objective. And the way the Eversor assassin achieves this is through his weapons and war gear. Each Eversor assassin comes equipped with an executioner pistol, a power sword, and a neuro gauntlet. Now the executioner pistol is the ranged option for this guy, and it is anti-infantry 3+ and pistol. Anti-infantry 3+ is pretty good. Means that even if you're shooting a Custodes, you still be wounding it on a 3. And it's got a 12-inch range, 4 attacks, hitting on a ballistic skill of 2+, but it's only strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. So it feels more like a weapon that's going to take a wound off here and there from a squad before the Eversor goes in and starts the choppy. This is done with the power sword and neuro gauntlet, which interestingly is just one combined weapon profile. It's not a separate one where you can choose to use the power sword for some attacks and neuro gauntlet for others. No, he's basically got the power sword in one hand, the gauntlet in the other, and he is just going to town. Now, this weapon has anti-infantry 3+, which again is useful. The Eversor assassin is going to be going after characters. Being able to wound any character in the game, including like a Baden on a 3+, is pretty tasty. 6 attacks gives you that good volume, and a weapon skill 2, strength 5, AP -2 and 2 damage. Well, most of the time you're going to kick someone down onto their invulnerable save, either a 4+ or a 5+ invulnerable save, and then 2 damage means that against a lot of characters you only need to slip a couple of wounds past and you're probably going to kill them unless they've got a lot of wounds because there's some sort of special character or some kind of feel no pain or damage reduction in there. However, one thing you may have noticed is both on the ranged weapons and the melee weapons, the Eversor does not have precision. Kind of makes him a bit weird because he's an assassin and most of the assassins have got precision weapons. He actually does have precision, he just gets that from his abilities, which we'll take a look at now. First off, we get to the core abilities. This guy has deadly demise. Yeah, he's an infantry guy, and he has deadly demise. This represents in the lore that Eversor assassins, when they die, they're so full of this cocktail of drugs that they basically just explode. It's crazy. So don't forget, when he dies on a 6-up, he's going to explode and he's going to take D3 people with him. He does D3 mortal wounds on his deadly demise. He's also a lone operative, which means that he cannot be targeted within 12, unless you're within 12 inches. And really cool, he's got Scout 9 inches. So this guy will scout move 9 inches forward, and then he's going to move 9 inches, meaning that on the first turn of the game, he actually has a 30-inch threat range because he moves 9, scouts 9, so that's 18 inches, and then he can charge a maximum of 12 inches. He can get a turn 1 charge fairly reliably if you go for it. We've also got the Eversor's specific unique abilities, and the first one is Friends On. In your command phase, select one of the effects below to apply until the start of your next command phase. Friends On is essentially the cocktail of drugs that is going through its system. You can choose Adrenal Surge. This model is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it advances. That's pretty good. If you're wanting to just launch your Eversor as essentially a magic missile, just a one-man army into an enemy unit and just get him, just chopping and killing. Maybe he'll die turn 1, you don't really care. He's just there to maybe put a bit of a shock and awe, just a bit of an assault on the enemy. Maybe your opponent has put a movement blocking unit in the way. You just thought, you know what, turn 1's going to get rid of that. Maybe there's a little unit, like some ratlings that are hiding on an objective, and the Eversor is going to go over there and just butcher them. It gives him more movement. Movement is great. This guy's already really fast. It extends that threat range, and it means that he goes 9-inch scout, 9-inch move, D6 advance, which will be an average of 3 or 4 inches. So you could be looking at this guy moving, advancing, scouting on average like 21, 22 inches forward. It's brilliant. You could definitely get this guy going into a bunch of cheap chaff screening infantry early on, and he's going to start doing work on them. You can also go for Predatory Focus. This model's weapons have the Precision ability, so if you want to go after characters, you can do, but they may be hiding. There's a lot of dense terrain these days. The character simply may not be visible, at which point there's no point for going for Precision, so go for the last option, which is Killing Rampage. This model's weapons have the Sustained Hits 3 ability. Now, with 6 melee attacks, that means statistically you should get one of those as a 6. You should miss one, and one should be a 6. So the Eversor Assassin should hit 8 times each time he attacks in combat. But of course, this can spike massively, and even with just a couple of 6s, you will start being able to rip and tear through entire units of light to medium infantry. 5 Marines, this guy can probably take them down. What of 10 Guardsmen or Guard equivalent like Fire Warriors or Kroot or Skitari, this guy will take them down. On average, he's not going to kill every single one, but he's going to brutalize the squad to the point where statistically it should be seriously less combat effective. Overall, I really like the Friends On abilities because I don't think any of them are broken. They're all just useful, and they're varied and they're flexible, and they allow the Eversor Assassin to adapt to different situations on the battlefield. Do you absolutely need to run across the board and chop up an enemy unit that might get a vital objective? Maybe they're scorching an objective, Scorched Earth, and you need to stop them from doing that. Just a couple of little scrap up infantry, he can handle that, no problem. He doesn't need the extra attacks. He'll go over there and he'll do it. Maybe there's an enemy character that you have the opportunity to snipe out of a unit. Go for it. You can use the Predatory Focus. Or perhaps you just need to kill everyone in the room. Well, that's when Killing Rampage comes in. Now, obviously, I'm exaggerating a little bit. Killing Rampage probably won't wipe out everyone in the room. But the point is, do you need to do a little more damage? You can. Do you need to go after a character? You can. Do you need a bit more movement? You can. It's very flexible. He does have another unique ability, which is Sentinel Array. Once per battle round, you can target this model with the Fire Overwatch or Heroic Intervention stratagem for 0 CP, and can do so even if you've already used that stratagem on a different unit this phase. This is surprisingly tasty. Being able to get a cheeky bit of Overwatch for free is fine. It's just extra damage. Don't turn your nose about it. But I think this is potentially really good on Heroic Intervention. That's quite an expensive stratagem. You never see anyone use it because it seems a bit overcosted, and with 10th edition being a fairly low CP edition, because you just sort of gain 1 a turn. If you're lucky, you gain 2, but that's it, like 3 in a battle round. You don't want to spend 2 of those, especially in a guard army. You don't spend 2 of those on Heroic Intervention. You want to spend 2 of them on, I don't know, Reinforcements or Fields of Fire if you've not got Creed. So being able to have a unit that can be good at counter-attacking and can give your opponent pause for thought, It's quite nice. In my mind, a likely scenario you might have is you've got a big L-shaped ruin, you've got a bunch of guardsmen that are doing their best to try and hold it, and the enemy wants to take you off that objective, and they know that even a fairly basic unit of their own is going to go in there and just kill enough of you that you're no longer going to hold it. You've got an Eversor assassin just next to that unit, and if the enemy tries to take it off you, you can heroic intervene, and that might just save that objective. Overall, I really like the Eversor assassin. I think he's fast and he's fighty, and he adds more combat to an army which normally doesn't have it. Guard don't have a huge amount of close combat and melee potential without kind of memeing it up with like going full melee or adding a few bulgars in there. But just being able to take an Eversor and just chuck him in your list, I think it's fun. It's flavorful. Is it S tier? Is it going to single-handedly change and shape the meta? Probably not. Is it going to actively hamstring your list and make you wish you'd never brought him? No. He's fun and he's usable. And the best bit is he's quite cheap. The Eversor Assassin is only 75 points. That is essentially the same cost, a little bit more than like an infantry squad or a unit of Kriegers. And being able to chuck one of these guys in might just provide you with an extra tool in the toolbox, an extra fix for your local meta. I often talk about local metas because I think they are really important. What might work in one game, on one table, in one environment, will just be completely useless in another one. And if you're finding in your local gaming environment, be it at home, in the battle bunker with your mates, in the basement, beer and pretzels, or down at the local gaming club, or even in your tournaments and RTTs and your GTs, if you're finding that just need a bit of combat in your army, and you've got Strachan in there, he's just not quite doing it, you just need a bit more combat in your army, and you don't want to commit yourself to like a big unit like Bulgarians because they're slow and they might be taking orders from your Lord Soul and all this kind of stuff. You just want a little more combat. All you want, a bit more seasoning, add a bit more salt to the mixture. Well, Eversor Assassin could be the answer that you're looking for. At least that's what I think. But of course, all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you like the Eversor Assassin, or are there other assassins that you think do a better job? Personally, I think he's really, really cool. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian Glory Hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing, truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full time without the incredible and generous support of my members, so thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Vert, Mad Larkin, Marcus Roberts, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Wolf, Diesel Fox, and August Varney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. that's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.